Over the years, I've always advocated a balanced approach when it comes to training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. By balance, I mean one that incorporated both training with the gi, without the gi, with strikes, mixed martial arts, and with self-defense in mind. Those of you who've trained with SBGi or followed our work know that our thesis is that once you've grasped the core fundamentals of the delivery system, traveling between those four areas of the art should be even more than feasible. In other words, if your game falls apart the moment you put a gi on or the moment you take a gi off, then you have a problem with your foundation. Likewise, if after some adjustment you find yourself unable to cope on the ground when strikes are allowed, then you're missing something large as it relates to the core of the delivery system. A good way to translate that to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would be think about time limits. Let's say that all of a sudden the sport went to 3-minute matches. A certain type of athlete and a certain type of very aggressive game would evolve. Now change it to 30 minutes. And again, a whole different style of play would develop. The types of conditioning that the athletes had to engage in and the strategy the players adopted would adapt to the change in the time. If both types of competitions became popular, I could easily see, given enough time, two different types of athletes evolving for two different types of sports. However, the core delivery system of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would, in my opinion, remain exactly the same. In this case, the fundamentals of escaping, holding, and submitting really wouldn't change, given that those are based on physics. Only the strategy and the conditioning methods that the players used would change. Given that, if you train solely for the purpose of winning IBJJF tournaments, then your Jiu-Jitsu, given enough time, will surely change. The mechanics, the physics of why Jiu-Jitsu works effectively would remain the same, but your selective application of those mechanics will have adapted to the environment you're concerned about, that you're concerned winning, in this case the IBJJF tournament. Same could be said for any particular environment. However, if you focus on the core movements which make Jiu-Jitsu the efficient art that it is, you too should be able to transcend the various environments. Take off your gi, put it back on, work a little mixed martial arts, and never really skip a beat. The game will become simpler, not more complex, and as such, questions like whether or not you should train with a gi or without a gi don't really hold much weight.